You are cleared for departure.
Captain on the bridge.
Mr. Spock?
Captain.
Mr. Scott?
We're ready, sir. Phase 1 test showed us he's exceeded all design expectations.
Then let's begin Phase 2.
Blog Talk Radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an all-new Some Kind of Radio show here on Blog Talk Radio. Call in live now at 347-989-8810. And here's our host, the one, the only, Biggie Earl McCune.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode here on blogtalkradio.com of Some Kind of Radio Show. Well, it's funny, yeah. My intro there, the big E. Well, the real big E. You know, we'll be talking about the Enterprise in Star Trek Phase 2, and my special guest at this time, Mr. Charles Root Jr., who plays Scotty. Charles, how you doing tonight?
Not too bad, Earl. Thanks very much for having me on.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you on. I'm a huge fan of what you guys do. You guys are basically the granddaddy of them all as far as Star Trek fan films. Tell me...
Some days I feel like a granddaddy when I'm doing it.
Yeah, I bet. Tell us a little. Let's just start simple. Tell us about you, Charles. Tell us what you do and how you got involved in Star Trek Phase 2.
Sure, absolutely, yeah. Well, I live in the great state of Vermont with my wife and my lovely cat, and I got involved with Phase 2, probably about 10 years ago now. Yeah, we must be going on 10 years at least. The time begins to blur a little bit. And so how I got involved with it was, I've always been involved in computers, and that's what I do for a living. I'm the director of technology for an intellectual property corporation in Vermont called IP Capital Group. And my love of computers and stuff has always kind of derived from my love of science fiction and Star Trek and that kind of thing. So I started following New Voyages when it popped up on the internet, and there were some stories going about it, and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I can't wait to see the first episode that's going to happen on this. Then one night I'm watching the local news here, and I see a story comes up and says, the Enterprise comes to the North Country. And I'm like, well, what's this, right? And they do an interview with James Cawley in regards to Star Trek New Voyages. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's that show I can't wait to watch. And it's literally an hour and a half away from where I live. I thought they were going to be doing this thing in L.A. or someplace that's far away, big city, only to find out that it's in a town that's about an hour and a half away from me. I said, I got to be involved with this. So I sent James an email, get a hold of him, said, I'm willing to do anything, sweep the floors, whatever you need. I'd be happy to take and do this. And they had been well into production of their first episode when I had given them a call. And James had said, you seem familiar to me. And I'm like, yeah, you seem familiar to me too. And it turns out I'd actually met James about 10 years before that at a local science fiction convention type of thing that was held at a mall in Vermont. And James had brought some Star Trek props, and we all had acted with Mark Leonard at the time. We ended up winning the contest there for acting in Star Trek. They exchanged numbers and never heard from each other again until that day I got a hold of him from seeing the newscast there. So at the time, Jack Marshall was playing Scotty, and he had decided that he didn't really want to act and direct at the same time, so they, looked for a new Scotty, and they had approached me because I was doing some PA work with New Voyages at the time and said, you kind of got the look. Would you be interested in doing them? And can you do a Scottish, accent? And I said, I can do my best on doing the Scottish accent, and and from reviews, either I do it really well or I do it so bad that people have to cover their ears because it's really when they hear it. But so from that point on, I told them, I had done some acting in college, and they said, well, give it a shot. They liked it. I was in, and from that point on, I have played Scotty up to this day.
I'll tell you what, I've tried to do that Scottish accent. I know I can't do it. Just for the people listening, can you do a little sample of Scotty?
Well, let me tell you something, Lottie. I don't normally talk like this unless I'm on film, all right? But for you, I'm going to make a special case tonight, okay?
Okay. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. I'll give it a solid 8. I mean, it's better than a lot of people can do. It's not an easy accent to try to handle. I mean, that's for sure.
As for even Jimmy Doohan wasn't even doing a real Scottish accent. And
no, not at all.
If you listen to people from Scotland, they sound entirely different than, the way James Doohan did it, the way I do it, the way Chris Doohan does it, the way Simon Pegg does it. None of those people sound anything like, what someone from, say, Edinburgh sounds like.
Right. I mean, that is true. I got a lady that lives down the street, and she's from, she calls the old country, and she's from over there, and her accent is so, how do I put it, robust. That's why you can stand there and talk, all you can do is smile, because you cannot understand her. I mean, it's like, okay, have a great day. That's about all you can do.
English, right? Yeah. I hear you. So Phase 2 has been great. We switched from being New Voyages to Phase 2 a few years ago, changed the name up to kind of push the show into that time period of past the original 5-year mission there. And it's going pretty good with the production. We've got some exciting things coming along the lines where we're moving the studio to a new location, a much bigger, more modern facility from where we've been shooting in the past, where we'll be able to have all the sets set up completely, whereas in the old place we didn't have room for the full corridor, and we only had room for like one swing set. In the new location, where we're increasing our space by almost 50% beyond what we have now, we'll be able to have space for all of the sets that are that we have now, and including some new sets as well. We may be looking at being able to put up the engineering section that you saw that was originally going to be looked at for Phase 2, the 1970s show there that they had thought about doing before they moved to the motion picture. So we've got, it's a much greater, there's a lot more, support facilities around, like restaurants and hotels and that kind of thing. So we're very, very excited about moving to our new location. And with it, we hope to have, more episodes come out more frequently. And in regards to that, it always comes down to people's time and the money that they can put into this, and the amount of effort that's on the post side as well. That's one of the tough things is you get everybody there, but then there's a lot of stuff that has to be done in the end, special effects, sound editing, color correction, all that kind of stuff, everything that goes into making a production film. And when nobody's getting paid for it and it's all volunteer, other life events come involved, right? People kind of get a paying gig and they have to back burn their hobby stuff for a while, and it's understandable.
No doubt. I mean, like this is really a hobby. I mean, obviously this is a online deal. I mean, where no one's getting paid for this show. I mean, I did this show originally last year for a while, and then back in '06, I did with a buddy of mine. We did a comedy show, but we did that around our work. We had real life come up, and we had so much planned, and we just stopped doing it because he moved away, and. But it was so much fun to do. I mean, I loved being in front of the camera, and, it was great times, I mean, some of the best, friendships that I've made to this day when we did our show back in '06, which was called Some Kind of Bowling Show. And we had some of my best friends to this day, just from doing that. We did it for a year. I mean, I'm sure I could tell by watching, what you guys do on Phase 2, I'm sure you got, the camaraderie and the chemistry between